I'll be sharing a screen to practically explain why I keep coming here. Love is the only bond for union. Love is the only thing that unites all. And the reason for that is because love used itself to bet all that can exist. And because being love myself and seeing the importance of unity, the importance of union, the importance of oneness, being love myself, I can tell you that individualization isn't a negative thing. It actually helps love, right? Leave no stone uncovered because it has to address every inch of itself because it is infinite. Infinity that keeps growing cannot be reduced because it's like trying to hold back an explosion. Your hands would not be enough to hold that force that keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. And it's a blessing when you understand that love is abundant. So lack is not even something that can make sense to us, right? Because we see that lack should not be associated with love because love is always everything positive. Love would always increase. So the whole point of this present society experiencing lack doesn't even make sense on a spiritual level, right? Because love used itself to bet all that can exist. This is why different voices are crying the same thing. Why is there lack that is causing people to kill each other? That is causing violence, right? That is causing the justification for lack of love. Why people cannot live together in harmony. And it comes from fear. Fear is just everything that doesn't feel good, literally. You don't have to literally be afraid to express the energy of fear. The energy of fear, the energy of division, it would always bring about separation. Just like when you don't feel good, you don't put yourself in spaces that are not welcoming because you don't feel good already. Like you're not trying to complex it. But when you don't feel good, anything around you doesn't really matter. That's just the truth. If we're honest with ourselves, we are not individuals that would just act without a feeling. And you see, all these feelings that we act on, right, is because there's a belief. There's a belief that, makes sense, that backs up that feeling, that makes it sensible to experience it. Because if you're happy, right, something happened, right, that makes you really genuinely excited. Something had to happen, right? Usually the case. There has to be a reason. This reason is what we call a condition. A condition that has to be present for you, that is love, that will always be love, that will always tailor towards feeling good, that will always bend and twist and move and, towards feeling good. You even see a tree would bend different shapes just to find where it feels, because if it doesn't feel good, it can't grow. And this is true for even little children. So when a animal is not growing, it means that it's sick. There's something that is making it not feel good, right? But we are so blind with lack of love that we can't even identify that growth and infinite growth can only be God itself. Because God is everything positive and God will always increase. And as long as you move in the energy of oneness, you're operating the energy of oneness, which would be union. Because union is moving in the energy of oneness, whether you're aware of this or not. A union moves in the energy of oneness because now you're not just yourself, right? You're yourself and that which observes you. And put it that way. So yes, union brings about that energy of oneness. And you can't talk about that energy of oneness when you don't work in union. Now, union cannot be forced because love does not try to oppress anyone. Love is always about both parties feeling good. Without two feeling good, love does not want that union. It wants everyone to feel good because it is itself. So if one of it is not feeling good, it's still love not feeling good. I don't know if you get it. So you can't find someone that is feeling love and isn't out to spread love because love itself would want you to spread it. Love wants to feel love genuinely in all itself. It wants the next person to feel love genuinely. It wants everyone feeling good. Just imagine a world where everyone is feeling good. Everyone is excited about just being alive. Do you know the kind of abundance we generate just by feeling good? The energy of positivity brings about surplus. It keeps increasing and you can't understand it unless you feel it. That is why our whole being is made to feel that even your hair can feel cold and they can feel things like you can feel when you're touching your hair, just like your hair is feeling it. I don't know how to. Like everything about us feels intentionally because we are existing to feel. The whole point of existence is to feel. So if you are choosing to only feel, not feeling anything, that is a choice. That is numbness, right? You don't want to feel anything but not feeling anything. It's still a feeling. So we cannot say it is actually fear that would make you scared to feel, right? Something that should be natural to you when you are created to feel and you're scared to feel them. Why should you not even give it a try, right? If you think about it. And so I am here to express the fact that love seed, right? Love seed is what is key. You see, love seed is very key because you see my screen. If you're a love seed, it means you're a star seed. And every seed must grow after its kind. You can't really help it. A seed not growing after its kind is not well, literally. And so, because we want to help love seeds, we try to create a practical navigation of negative attention and emotional growth. The reason is because negative attention would only expand negative emotions. And as crazy as it seems, what you want to expand, right, are emotions that feel good to you. Those are the favorable kind of energy you want around you. You want good vibes. You don't want to always be angry because that means there's a reason for being angry. And nobody wants to have that kind of energy. I don't know why anyone would want that. The kind of energy you want to amplify within yourself. Right? Sorry about that. It was too fast. I was trying to get the screen of the chat right. The kind of energy you want to have would be love filled emotions. And the only way you can have that is by attention, right? When you have a negative attention, how do you change that? How do you go about it? Because the negative attention is valid all the time. It's always valid. Always valid. The negative attention would always appear very valid. Because the truth is, it is all love. Even negativity is saying, this is love trying to feel good, right? And to feel good is what grounds you in love. To be grounded in love. Anything that doesn't feel good is fear based. And because when you have a negative attention, the moment at which you are seeing that negativity, you're experiencing the negativity, it is usually impossible to say that you would not have any negative impact. But you can choose how you react, right? You can transmute it. You can tell the fear, right? The negativity that you are love. Because that is where the work is. The work is seeing that negativity and telling it that, yes, I know that you are valid, but I would rather prefer love because I am love. And when you are not consumed by that pain, you don't recycle the pain, you recycle positivity. Sorry, my recycle positivity, and you act with love, right? That would be where love would come into play, and it promotes healing. Imagine, let's be practical, right? Imagine you feeling the pain of, imagine as a dark person, you can you just watch the documentary on slavery and you see how your ancestors, right? Things that happened when you were not there physically happened. And at the moment of seeing that scene, you are enraged with pain of hurting someone that has a dark skin, literally, because that's where your attention is. It could be you, right? And because it could be you, it feels like you're the one receiving the pain somehow, because you can almost use yourself to replace what you're seeing. And in that instance of seeing that, you know that this happened out of a level of vibration that I wasn't feeling good. Not just a level of vibration that I wasn't feeling good, a level of vibration that didn't know what feeling good looked like. And for you to come to this point of transmuting this kind of pain, you have to be aware why you would rather prefer to feel good at that situation. Because any energy you impress right into the quantum field gets expressed into your reality. This is why if you're angry often in such vibrational heightened state, you quickly find more things to amplify your anger to make you even more angrier than you think you can be. And so this is the introduction. Human exists in a constant exchange of energy, attention, and experience. Every person interacts with reality from a specific state of being, right? Which determines how they perceive what we perceive, react to, and integrate experiences. Like, we are all just more about how we feel, and how we feel tells us what we perceive most times. We are not even conscious of it, and most operate from reactive states where negative attentions were from witnessing injustice, violence, or suffering amplifies negative emotions. That's just what I've been trying to express. This amplification occurs because the nervous system does not distinguish between personal harm and observed harm. The nervous system is, is so sensitive that it is what it observes that it absorbs into itself. This is why empaths easily have the ability to cry out of pain from somebody else's agony, because they have a higher sensitive nervous system that would just make you feel that energy automatically. And because it is easy to feel the energy and absorb it, it is usually a dangerous play of, or a dangerous, tango dance, because at the moment of you feeling that energy, you are prone to do what? To get carried away with the energy. It can become your energy. You can absorb it to the point it becomes who you are. That's the crazy part. And to you, it has nothing to do with you. It is not your energy. It doesn't have to define you. But negative attention will always amplify negative emotions. And this amplification occurs because the nervous system does not distinguish between the personal harm and the observed harm. When the system is already dysregulated, because the system is already carrying a nervous system that has so much negative belief systems as a body structure of itself. And negative attention fuels reactive cycles, creating bitterness, anger, sadness, and fear. Because negativity would always expand the negativity, right? Which are negative emotions. However, some humans operate from what we call a love seed state. This is very important when we understand that every seed must grow after their kind. And so a love seed state is a state of a seed growing after love kind, after the nature of love. And love is the highest level of feeling good, right? So a naturally regulated, grounded, and growth oriented state. In this state, the person is rooted in love as an energy and operating system. They can witness negative attention without being consumed by it, respond without feeding cycles of violence, and maintaining clarity and harmony. So it takes you to be fully aware that you are the one responding to everything by how you feel, your vibrational levels. And this makes you conscious of the fact that you cannot build a harmonious world if, on an individual level, right, you and I have systems of fear within us. We would always pull each other down. It always makes sense to tear each other down. It always makes sense to shadow ban someone, to cast somebody. You wouldn't see God within all. So it wouldn't make sense to see someone talking as God using itself to talk to itself. You would think it's just someone that is mischievous or for a negative reason because you are looking through the lens of negativity. So what you would apply amplification to, right, what you would expand would be negative. This framework explains step by step how negative emotions affect human system, the distinction between reactive and love seed state, and practical strategies for navigating life with emotional and spiritual intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is knowing that you are loved and love is the highest level of feeling good. And because you are loved, right, you're feeling good is important. Spiritual intelligence is understanding that love is the frequency of existence. Love is what we exist within. Can you see when the two come together, they have a way of backing each other up like bodyguard, like boom, 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 boom. Wakanda for life. Like they have a way of backing each other up in such a way that you're like, damn, right? Because you can't always see that emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence in one combination. It's a very trained being that is intentional about training itself. Right? It also provides actionable methods to help others transition towards stable and love-based consciousness. Because the truth is, if you're not aware, it isn't. It's never an excuse. Honestly, there's no excuse for not knowing that you are loved. Right? That's just the truth of it. So the core principle is being before diving into practical steps, we must establish principles that govern how attention, energy, and consciousness interact. Because these are the foundations that we are building on. And for you to always have a good building, the foundation has to be solid. Because whatever you build on a shaky foundation would come crashing down like mad anytime, any day. So today I'm taking my time through the process of flowing with it. Attention determines energy flow because anything at all we feed our attention to would always receive our power to expand. This is sense of energy. It is just you knowing that energy will always flow wherever attention goes, right? Focusing on a negative stimuli will, in a reactive state, amplify negative emotions, and focusing on positive, constructive energy in a grounded state amplifies love, connection, and harmony because that is the truth of spirit. If you focus on positivity, it amplifies because you are feeding it energy. So I love everyone out there that is doing the little they can in their own way possible to focus our attention on positivity because I give it out to you guys. You're doing beautiful work, and I'm very grateful for as much as can change the collective vibration to positivity, no matter how small it is. This doesn't say I am not acknowledging the fact that you can do better, right? Because there's always room for improvement. And I'm growing every day myself. There's always room for improvement. But just because there is always room for improvement doesn't mean that you should not be grateful for the little progress. Because the process is usually what is more important than the goal, to be honest. So, practical implications when interacting with the world, humans cannot avoid negative experiences, but the state of mind during attention determines whether the experience fuels negativity or understanding. This is a very truth of spirit for all, right? Emotional states are primarily reactive, not optional. Hmm. That is the second marker, right? Negative experiences generate negative emotions, responses at the moment they are encountered. And this, right, is usually the case because you can't be seeing someone dying and you're smiling like, oh god, that's so nice until it's has to be something mentally sick, right? A mental illness for you to be seeing shit and that is what you want to rub on your face. Not like there's nothing like rubbing shit on your face, but like you can't see violence and at that point of seeing that violence, right? There's this smile on your face that isn't like you cannot pretend. You would always have that negative reaction at that moment. Joy cannot be generated by witnessing violence, suffering, or harm in real time, because it's the truth. Unless there's a mental problem, then I don't know how it's possible for us to feel good from seeing other people suffer. Because I don't even do that myself. I can't even process that. I literally would have cancer and die if I could do that. Because I would have killed myself, right? Literally. Because the only thing that makes me alive, possibly, is love. And without love, I can't even exist, let alone joy in someone suffering or violence. This is why I can't understand war and killings happening, and I'm just happy with it. And I'll just be quiet. As much as I want to feel like, oh, it's none of my business, right? Because I can't just see joy in people suffering and just let it keep going on. It's almost like participating in the suffering to ensure that they're suffering, literally. That is how it feels like. So why would God not come down itself to shake existence from what the hell am I seeing? Think about it. Like, think about it. Just think about it. If God is love, not just a part of it, right? God equals love. Why do you think lack of love would be something that God is happy about seeing, right? And lack of love will never feel good. It will never look like anything that is exciting. It will look like violence and suffering or harm in real time, right? And reactions vary. Negative emotions can result in destructive behaviors for reactive systems or non harmful processing for regulated systems, right? Because depending on what states you are in, if you're angry and someone comes to you and is talking about something that probably would trigger you more, you would be aggressive to slap the person without even consciously aware that they are not the problem. It is just because you are angry and something else has come to put more pepper on the wound, right? And that is why you are violent. But you wouldn't know that is what's happening to you, right? If you're not emotionally intelligent, if you're not emotionally aware, that's what intelligence literally is expression. And then love versus reactive systems. Love seeds, often called hot, emotional, flooded with overwhelm, consume. Sorry. Okay, reactive systems. I should have started by saying that. Sorry. Sorry about that. Reactive systems are usually called hot-headed, emotionally flooded and overwhelmed, right? They are consumed negative attention as its own pain. They have so consumed that negative attention and they apply, sorry, and they keep amplifying circles of anger, like especially when you're envious, that kind of anger, you just keep going angry and angry and you're not even understanding why you're. And I'm feeling sorry for you because it's not even easy to have that tearing you constantly. It's like someone is doing with knife on your stomach, and it's a consistent pain of and you're screaming, and it's like it keeps paining you. Imagine that kind of pain, right? Why would you want that for anyone? Exactly. You never want that for anyone, right? They keep amplifying it. Meanwhile, love seeds, which are that's love is a star in a couple of my videos on YouTube, right? Grounded in love, operating system is love based, the truth is when your operating system is love based, nobody needs to tell you to be a good person. You naturally are a good person because it is your free will. You're not a good person because of any religion. No, you're not a good person because you are trying to get to one heaven. You're a good person because it is who you are as a person. And your natural state of being is expressing love, right? Then emotional regulation allows constructive, harmonious responses. Really. And love seed embodied the principles that all action flows from harmony, not force. Because when you're a love seed, you're not out to manipulate anyone. You're just out to see that everybody feels good. This is why love is always just. And seriously, love is just. It's not words. It's literally ease. Because love itself gets these boundaries it sets up. Doesn't allow anything to hurt itself. That is why nothing is above love. Because nobody is above another person. Love is not above the next. Like we are just all equally loved with equal ability to love. I'm not above anybody else, neither is anybody else above myself. So there's really nothing special about being with anyone other than the fact that they are expressing love. So if they're not expressing love, bye bye, right? This is why when you don't put yourself in spaces that are not expressing love, you help yourself express love more for the reason of the fact that energy, right, would always be exchanged. And if you are in a space with certain energies, you start syncing with them. And you like to sync with energies that feel good to you. That's the truth. I wonder what my cat is doing at this point in time. So, spiritual growth determines emotional growth, literally, because we are all spirit existing within spirit. So, your spiritual growth would literally shape your emotional growth because whether you are consciously aware of this or you're not consciously aware of this, right? We are all spirit. I don't know if I'll try to finish this this session to ensure that I cover it as much as we can so we don't come back to it. So this video will be a bit longer than my usuals. But yeah, I think we can always come back to watching it on a different level if you are that interested. Because the truth is, I only seek free will growth. Right? So, did I skip this part? Yeah, spiritual growth, and we understand that spiritual growth determines emotional growth. Emotional growth is not determined by solely, is not, sorry, is not determined solely by physical systems or external experiences because there's always a spirit side that controls the physical, whether you're aware or not. And emotional maturity is a reflection of spiritual alignment. This is when your soul is literally in an evolutional state. So, human evolution is actually spiritual evolution. And the degree at which someone is grounded in love as an as an energy directly determines the ability to process negative attention, without reactive amplification, right? Without applying the laws of love, you cannot just not react to negative attentions because now you are aware that this is a negative attention and it is trying to do what it would always do, apply an expansion to negative emotions, right? To negative emotions. And you don't want negative emotions to expand within you because you don't gain anything from them. You rather want positive things to expand within you, right? So this is where you have to be intentional about that. But for you to be that intentional, you have grown to that awareness. So awareness, right, is increase of intelligence. It's intelligence itself. There's one more thing I didn't touch. Developing spiritual alignment is as practical as learning math or physical skills. It is as practical as that. Emotional intelligence is rooted in spiritual energy management. Yes, and that's the very truth of it. Emotional intelligence is rooted in spiritual energy management because you are just doing what? You're managing the energy of positivity. You're understanding why you are even positive. Timing and emotional response. At the moment of exposure, negative attention produces negative emotion. That's the truth. And initial emotional response cannot be skipped. Joy cannot simultaneously appear while witnessing suffering. So choosing to respond constructively happens after initial process, not during exposure. So once you are aware of this, right, you see that this is only out to expand negative emotions. You can now give yourself grace to feel good. Like the validation of the negativity is always going to be valid, right? You give yourself grace to heal because you are now different from that which was hot before. Like guidance must respect the emotional process timeline. Trying to force positivity, yeah, trying to force positive emotion prematurely is ineffective. It's like performing acts. It's literally like smiling when you are seeing someone dying. It's fake, right? It's not real. You don't do that over here. We are true to spirit. So distinguishing emotions from reaction. Emotion equals application experience, sorry, automatic experience in response to input, right? Something happens, something comes into your consciousness. You automatically would have an emotion. You will feel something before you even think about it. Then what you feel, if you are slow to action, you would catch yourself, right? Before you react unconsciously, before you react negatively, right? And reaction can be conscious and unconscious reaction following emotion, right? So, key principle love love state can experience negative emotions and choose not to let it dictate actions, right? That's the sweet thing about being a love state. You can just look at it like, "Phew, don't come close to me." Yes, man, like I know you're real. I know you're valid, baby. Yeah, baby. I give it to you. But stay away from me. I rather prefer to feel good. Because that's what we just say. We simply say that in what we would rather prefer. Because so focus training, right, on response management, not emotional avoidance. Because to avoid emotions would not be meaningful. You literally would just be suppressing something that you don't want to bottle up for any longer, honestly speaking. So stabilization, preparing for negative attention. The truth is, I would ask you to prepare for negative attention, but know that whatever happens, right, you would first breathe before you react. So preparing for negative attention is like expecting the worst, literally. I'm not asking you to expect the worst. I'm asking you to just more be aware that life has its ups and downs and everything is just about how you would respond at every given time. That is what it's trying to test you on. So if you see it as that, it's not like you're preparing for everything negative to happen to you. No. So before a person can process negative attention constructively, your system must be stabilized, right? You must have worked on your inner child to that point of feeling, you know what, I never put you at harm risks. Because your inner child is love that should be always positive, right? Because love is everything positive. So it is that baby that never grows. Our inner child, why it is called an inner child is because it is ageless. It has no age to it. It doesn't grow. It's timeless. It's limitless. It has no effect with space and time, literally. And so stabilization techniques. What did I say? Deep breathing, posture, movement. I was just trying to say we should breathe in, right? Before we let ourselves be carried away by the negative attention, because negative attention is just coming up to say, hey, is there anything I'm triggering? Am I triggering you? And if there's nothing to trigger, what does it mean? It means that you have nothing to respond to because there's no trigger, there's nothing there, there's nothing at all, right? Noticing surroundings, temperature, texture, reducing automatically nervous system, like just literal practical steps of being aware that what you're watching is a movie, right? The documentation that happened years ago, and right now, how you feel will determine the kind of reality you experience. It wouldn't just be a negative reality because your ancestors had it negative. Your ability to change your vibration influences the outcome of your reality right now. And so it has nothing to do with what skin color you have. Your skin color is beautiful because you are beautifully and wonderfully made all the time. Because you're love, right? You're love, the most powerful force in all of existence. And when you understand this as your foundation, you feel that safety in your nervous system. Your nervous system feels embraced. It feels, oh, it feels so safe. That is all it wants to feel. That is what your ego is even trying to keep safe. Just it's doing it from an external angle, right? It's trying to make you feel safe from an external point of view, whereas you cannot be safe from anything external but internal because your soul is, yeah, it's an internal felt connection. And so processing negative attention constructively, right? Once stabilization is achieved, negative attention can be approached in a constructive way, right? Without identification, without making the pain your present pain, without making it you, because it is not you. It could be you, right? But it is not you. And because it is not you, you cannot experience such negativity because you do not emit such negativity within you. You will not attract what you're not paying attention to. And just because you just happen to have this negative attention does not change the fact that you are love. And love is the most powerful force in all of existence. Love is a positive energy, the dominant force, right? Because love is the only power in all of existence. That is why positive energy is only explaining an increase in love's energy. And when we are not attaching labels to it and making us, right, what we are experiencing, the grief is no more there, the sadness, right, is no more there because you are just giving it its acknowledgement by saying, this is what it is. This is what they went through. This is how it happened. And that instance of you transmuting it, because now you're understanding that because they went through this doesn't mean that you would go through it. You see, that's one thing that we need to understand. Just because you see negative attention that happened to expand negative emotions, right? Emotions doesn't mean that you would have that same process because now you are more aware than the average, right? You are more aware to the point where you would rather pick what you prefer. And what you rather prefer would always feel good to you, right? So think about it. Each time that negative attention wants to overwhelm you, that it is just by giving it a name. Did I miss a part? You observe without identification. That's one. You label emotional. You label emotion and release. Like you label the emotion. You identify what you're feeling, right? Because if you don't, if you can't see it, then you can't really let it out. So label it intentionally, right? And then when we label it, we extract constructive meaning. And the meaning is that they they didn't deserve to experience that, but when we keep repeating history, we don't heal history. We're not supposed to repeat history, we're supposed to heal history, learn from it and grow out of it. It's not supposed to be a repeated cycle of history. Because negative energy would always expand itself when it keeps you focused your attention to it. It would always expand it naturally by your energy. It is your energy that is expanding negative. So when you extract the constructive meaning, it becomes more like a lesson of something that you can now act from love, because now you're conscious that you're not seeking revenge. You don't want to expand the negativity. You would rather prefer to feel good. You rather want to be in energy spaces that feel good, right? Integrating into the love seed state is characteristics of love seed, cultivating love seed quality. Literally, this may look like too much of a listing, but one thing that you just need to do is switch into the closest thing that makes you feel good, not vaguely, intentionally. It's something that is genuinely true. It has to be true to you. So you to really feel good about it, genuinely, not pretend, not anything less, right? And so handling negative attention, I think this has helped us to understand this. I usually have this read to speech. So I think next time I would read it out for all of us to hear. But yes, it's an article that you can always read on my Substack, how to fully go about it. It has daily practice exercise. And this is not something that you're trying to do out of obligation, right? So yes, I was not going to make this more than 1 hour long because I can't even take more than 1 hour to watch a video myself. I wouldn't. I try to be, it's not easy for neurodivergents to be focused on one thing if it's not exciting. So for you to see me focused on love, right? It's because it's exciting for me. It's interesting. It's not just interesting. It's everything I want to feel. I rather prefer to feel good than not feel good. And I want you to feel good. I rather prefer you to feel good than not feel good. And I can't drop my feeling good just to make your feeling good valid. Because it doesn't even make sense. Right? At the end of the day, if I was not consciously alive, I wouldn't be conscious of you. You wouldn't exist to me. So it can't be that my feeling would be less more important. Right? The reason why I'm conscious is because I can be alive. So thank you very much. Mwah. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for walking me through this process. This was really a lot of book. It's not really book, like kind of words, right? Written words. Words that have flown through me a while back. That's me scratching my back. Oh shit, feels good. So yeah, I'm glad that I have light right now to do this, and so I'm taking every chance I get, I can still to get this out. And this is just the little beginnings of making us see why love is something we'd rather prefer. And love seeds are more advantageous to love than the regular, but it doesn't mean that they are the only one that deserve love. We all deserve love because we are all equally love made by love itself. So thank you very much for your sincere patience with this process that's just started happening. We just started growing together, and we're going to really go a long way together to understand why we would all rather prefer to love.